Preecy, a 6-1 win this evening here at Stalybridge Celtic. Sum that one up for me.
There's a lot of good stuff in the first half. We started really well, created some really good opportunities, some really good play. We moved the ball really well, quickly, which we'd been talking about, and we wanted to be better in possession of the ball. We just got a little bit sloppy, and we just switched off defensively. Not as good as what we've been in previous friendlies, where we've been really solid, and fair play to Stalybridge, they created some problems. Just think it more of a mindset than anything else. But then, we finished the half well, and the goal was quality. Great play by Walks, and then the timing of all the passes and the finish were excellent. And again, that's something that we've been trying to improve on, is when we get into those areas and we get those opportunities, that we're a little bit more ruthless, and we take a little bit more care. We show that individual ability, which Walks did in going past the lad, and we show that willingness to run forward, which Ennis is run right from right back position to score. So pleased with that. We talked about a few things at half time that we need to improve on, and I think you saw the difference in the second half. Definitely defended a lot better. Again, we moved the ball quicker. Some of the goals were really good. A mixture of goals where lots of short passing and giving goals and cross and finish, or more direct, longer balls over the top that we've got in to score from. So I was pleased with that, because we mixed up our play a lot better, and it's something that we needed to improve on. We haven't had lots of opportunities pre-season to work on that in the games, because the opposition has been very good and had a lot of the ball. But in the end, I'm really pleased with the performance. Again, it's a step forward. We've had a little bit of a warning that we can't just turn up, and we've got to be in the right mindset. And we finished the game really well, and then it's just nice to score 6 goals. And we've conceded a goal, which, again, if you don't prepare right, you don't get the organisation right, you're going to concede goals, and that's a little kick up the backside for me as well. Just to make sure I'm focused going into the first game of the season.
You've listed off endless number of positives from tonight and throughout this pre-season, and obviously to get 6 goals is a big plus. But for more than anything else, the bigger picture for you personally, to see the things that you're working on, behind the scenes, is that especially pleasing?
When it's just, it's almost dusting off a little bit. Fortunately, we haven't had to make lots of changes in pre-season, so it is just dusting things off and just making sure that we know what's made us successful over the last few seasons, and a lot of it's down to hard work, organisation, focus, and everybody being on the same page. And it's pleasing when you see that, because they're doing things that I've asked them to do without me having to do a lot in training. So it's still there, it's still embedded, and they're doing it naturally. We can still work on it, just a few reminders, but really positive. You look at our pre-season, really tough at the start, and then a couple of games where we'd probably be favourites in it, so we're probably going to have more possession of the ball, and then we've got to break teams down, and then we've got to be careful of not getting hit on the counter. So just the same things that we'll encounter during the season, and it's just trying to get as many different scenarios into the players over pre-season. So it's not easy to get it absolutely right, But you know, we got to be positive again with the performance and coming out with no injuries.
You just mentioned it there. You made a couple of changes at half time, and then through the game, used plenty of different bodies. You know, just how big is it again to get through another game without any knocks, any niggles, and then to take that into Saturday against Atherton Collieries?
Yeah, look, that's the key now over the next 10 days is just making sure that, you know, everybody arrives at Darlington fit. We need to get, you know, more minutes into a few. Great to see Tom Walker 45, Craig to get 45 minutes, and Sampo to get 60. Because, you know, they're probably the three a little bit behind. Jack Moore probably just a tiny bit behind, but you know, other than that, you know, everybody else is, you know, is pretty much there. You know, probably, you know, we'll probably look to try and get maybe a few more with extra minutes in these next two games. But we'll see. You know, they're feeling good and sharp. So yeah, you're as positive as you can be. But pre-season means little. You know, the first game is what matters. First 3 games matters. The first 6 games is what matters. You know, 6-1. If you win 6-1 or lose 6-1, it doesn't really affect you other than a little bit of confidence. You know, what we get out of today is a bit of confidence, because although we played really well in the games previously, you know, we hadn't won any of them. So, you know, it was nice to get a win today and to get as many goals as we did. So, you know, there's a little bit of confidence, and you can't just dismiss pre-season totally, because it does have an effect. And, you know, lads getting on the score sheet, that gives them confidence. I always wanted to score in pre-season. I always felt that it made a big difference to me going into that first game. So yeah, you know, there's some really good positive, but we're not getting carried away with it. We know we've still got a bit of work to do, but you've got to be satisfied with the performance today.